Hi there, it's Ron again. I think I figured this thing out. I'm using a tripod, so I had too many people come down with seasickness last time I did one of these videos. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm up here at the corner of Immokalee Road and Oil Well Road, out in the east part of town. I'll just move it a bit so you can see Immokalee Oil Well. Okay. And that reminds me of a story about the name of Oil Well Road. You know, you might wonder how in the name of tarnation did he come up with that name. And I tell you how I found out about it about 7 years ago when I heard Ave Maria was going in. I went out, I had a group of investors, and we were looking to buy a piece of land, and I couldn't find anything for sale. So I stopped over at the Collier real estate office. I think it was Baron Collier Enterprises. You know, they named Collier County after him, after Baron Collier. Anyway, I stopped out there and I said, hey, I'm looking for a piece of land. And anyway, to make a long story short, I asked the gentleman, you know, how did they come up with the name Oil Well Road? And he went way back and explained that we had oil wells here in Collier County. And at one point, over just south of, or just past Ave Maria, there was a total of 60 wells. They were producing 25,000 barrels of oil a day. Really good jobs, by the way. You know, the oil wells, it pays really good money. And then, of course, what happened is we had the environmental movement. The environmental wackos took over, and they basically wanted to get rid of oil. I mean, they don't even like us driving cars, you know. And so they made a deal. Deal was struck in the right under what's his name? It was after Nixon for Carter. When in the Carter days in the 80s, they made a deal and they said, okay, we'll let you keep the oil that you found, and we're going to grandfather these wells in. But you can't do anything to enhance them. So what's happened over these 20, 25, 30 years, you know, they stick the oil bit down there, and when it runs out and it's not producing a lot of oil, it reaches the point where it might be costing $1,500 a day to operate the well, and it's only yielding $1,400 in revenue. So at that point, normally what you do is you enhance it, you inject steam, you push hot water into it. The modern technologies are fantastic. I'm not a geologist, but you can read all about it. You know, Google it. They can drill sideways. They can take it down. They can go as far laterally as they went down. You know, if they were in 10,000 feet deep, they can go 35,000 feet wide. Anyway, they can't do that, so they're shut down. We're down to, I think it's about 11 to 14 wells right now. And it's kind of a shame. And Florida has been blessed with a lot of this oil, offshore and you know, on land. But offshore is all over the Gulf of Mexico. It's full. I mean, that's why the prices of oil. Every time there's a storm, like Hurricane Isaac, you know, they shut everything down, and that's probably 25-30% of our domestic production. And so instead of enhancing and going sideways, we're going to let Cuba go in the Gulf of Mexico, and the Cubans are going to drill sideways and get under our oil, USA oil. And they'll be taking our oil, and they'll be getting the money instead of us, which is kind of stupid, you know. I mean, hey, I'm just a simple guy, but I just can't see where the logic is. In the meantime, the administration has shut down future exploration and new rigs and that. Every time Shell Oil puts in a rig, it costs about $1 billion, just under $1 billion. That's $1 billion with a B, and not $1 million with an M. So you're talking some serious money. So they have two of them that they towed out to Brazil, and the Brazilians didn't have the money to buy them. You know, so we used our stimulus money. Remember this famous stimulus money? People got upset about Cylinder. It was only $500 million. This is $2 billion in rigs and another $2 billion in operating money. We loaned it to the Brazilian government. They're paying Shell, and they're putting Brazilian nationals to work using our machinery. And we drove a real hard bargain with the Brazilians. We said, we're going to do all this for you, but here's the deal. You have to let us have first crack at the oil. Not cheaper prices, just first crack at it. And I guess it's better to pay the Brazilians and have the Cubans making money. It's better than buying the oil from the Saudi Arabians or the Iraqis or the Iranians or the Turks or the Syrians or whoever else hates us. The more they hate us, the more oil they have and the more money we give them. It's in the billions, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year that we're giving out over there. My daughter lives in New Orleans, so talking about Shell Oil, that used to be their head office. And on her street, she lives in a pretty nice area, the street's made up of doctors, lawyers. My daughter, who's married to an engineer with an MBA degree, and he works for Shell. And the rest of the street is guys who work on the oil rigs. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You get a job sweeping the floors in the oil rig. I mean, that's about the lowest level of the totem pole is sweeping and mopping, and they're big. I mean, they have a crew of 40, 50 people living there. It's like a hotel. So you start at $80,000 a year if you're manually doing the work, and the average wage out there is 140. Some people, the higher up you are, the more you make. Anyway, we decided we don't need the money, and we don't need the employment, and we'd rather buy our microwaves from China and buy our oil from the Middle East. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so the point is, we do have some say in this. I mean, we can all give our opinions on November the 6th. So don't forget, cast your ballot. And by the way, take a look. Here's a truck coming by. Sorry about the jiggling around, but there's a cement truck. You see it there? How about solar power? You think that's not going to do anything for a truck like that? Our entire industrial base was based on abundant, cheap hydroelectric power, coal power, and oil. You may not like it, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, that's it for now. I've got another message coming to you tomorrow. A real barn burner.